Good morning. Let's give people time to get in here and get a seat. I know 8 o'clock's pretty early, isn't it? It's early, very early for this, especially since we let you start at 9 o'clock yesterday morning. But welcome back to day 2. I thought yesterday went very well. I was very pleased. Today's focus, we're gonna talk about a lot of emerging technologies, and we're gonna talk about our challenges with sustainability and the tons, and I do mean tons, of opportunities that come from the funding under the IIJA and the IRA. I have a little some housekeeping instructions from Amanda that I'll run through really quick. Our conference sponsors today are National Grid Renewables, Guidehouse, the Kentucky Association for Environmental Education, Kentucky Habitat for Humanity, NextEra Energy Resources, Solar Energy Solutions, the UK Centre for Applied Energy Research, and the U of L Kahn Center for Renewable Energy Research. And if you haven't been using the Eventee app, try it out, see what you think. There's a lot of information on it. It's an easy way for you to submit your questions electronically to the speakers that are on the panel. During the sessions, you can also feel free to follow us on social media, at Kentucky EEC, and share photos of the conference, hashtag EEC Conference. We also have a ton of exhibitors this year, really nice exhibitions out there. Please go around, say hello to the exhibitors and thank them for coming, thank them for taking the time to speak about what they do and what they're demonstrating. And if you want to re-watch any of these sessions, they will be available later on the Cabinet's website. I also have a list of people I need to thank. It takes a village to put this conference together, and I think the first year I was cabinet secretary, we maybe had 4 or 5 people, and I have a cast of thousands today. So I'm going to run through these names real quickly, but I thank everybody who put in all their hard work for this. Paulette Akers, Natalie Bruner, Barry Mayfield, Robin Hartman, Kirsten Delamarter, Amber Hawkins, Carrie Johnson, John Mura, Stephanie Osterman, Jennifer Tammy, Brad Bowman, Elizabeth McNulty, Sarah Gaddis, Ashley Runyon, Amy Tempest Doom, Jennifer Turner, Sandy Gardner, and Amanda Lefevre. And let's give them a round of applause. Some interesting panels today. I think we're going to have Barry Mayfield, who's our Executive Director of Legislative Affairs, is going to moderate a panel of agency leaders that they talk about pressing issues of the day and what they see as some of our immediate future challenges. We also have a panel that looks at Kentucky's energy landscape and its opportunities. Monique Quartermain, who's the Deputy Executive Director for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Innovation with the Cabinet for Economic Development, will be here to host that panel. We're also going to have a panel about opportunities for communities and others under the IIJA and the Inflation Reduction Act. Our lunchtime speaker, and I'm really excited about this, is Chef Weta Michael, who knows how to use food as a way to connect people to each other, to the landscape, to their communities, and her passion in the food world goes way beyond the plate. So we're going to follow that with a panel that I'm really looking forward to, and I hope he's kind to the Energy and Environment Cabinet. And that panel will be with Tom Fitzgerald, and many of you have known Tom Fitzgerald for years and years. Fitz has been a fixture in the halls of the legislature, and he's been just a very vigorous supporter of Kentucky's environment and Kentuckians. So we're really excited to have him. He's now retired, but he's going to come and talk to us a little bit about where we've been, where we are now, and what he thinks the future holds. So Our last session is going to look at innovations in sustainability and what that means to a business or an industry or an organization. We'll have Gary Logston, who's our Assistant Director of our Division of Waste Management, who's going to lead that panel. Let's see. Then I think we're going to have, right after me, Michelle Moore. And I first, became aware of Michelle Moore. I sit on a TVA board, an advisory board for the governor, and she's the new TVA member. And I looked her up, kind of Googled her, and I found out about this organization, a nonprofit organization called Groundswell. And so she's going to be here speaking with us today. But the book she wrote is kind of interesting. It's called Rural Renaissance, and it's about the electrification of rural America. So anybody who knows anything about RECCs and knows about how they came about would enjoy that book. It's quite good. It's very well written. So she's going to be here, and she's going to lead us through the need for an equitable energy future for our more resource-constrained communities. So without anything else, I'm going to ask you to welcome Michelle Moore.
Good morning. It is wonderful to be here with y'all today. I was so delighted to land in Lexington yesterday afternoon and to be able to see a little bit of this beautiful city. It is wonderful to be here with you today and to share a word and hopefully to have a few conversations too. We got a little time for a Q&A at the end of my presentation. And I look forward to spending about half the day with y'all today as well. So thank you so much for the invitation. Thanks for y'all's hospitality. And we will jump right in. And I have just a few slides to share with us today, just more as a conversation guide than anything else. And we see here one of my very favorite images in the whole wide world. It's Lester Bial posters from the electrification of America. That was not quite 100 years ago. And we are in the midst of a very similar scale of energy transition right now. It is an exciting time to be in this space. And as you might gather, I have a whole lot of love for rural electric cooperative utilities, for public power, for y'all investor-owned folks too, but especially for what we accomplished together 100 years ago and what all we can do now. So, next slide, please. So I'll tell you just a little bit about myself and why I'm here and why I wrote Rural Renaissance too, and why I serve, why I do what I do. This is my Mama Nop and my Papa Nop. My Mama Nop's up in heaven right now, angry at me for showing a photo of her where her hair doesn't look just so. Mama was always careful about how she went out. She'd be like, Michelle, can't you get a better picture? But they all, just like my Mama and Papa Moore, worked in the cotton mills in LaGrange, Georgia, their whole lives. And their families before them were farmers and sharecroppers in West Georgia and East Alabama. And my Mama Nop and Papa Nop's house, like my Mama and Papa Moore's house, just up the street on Cleveland Drive in LaGrange, were mill village houses, both of them. And there is no place more dear to me in the world than their homes. But Mama and Papa's house was one of those houses where in the winter, when you'd have to turn the heat on to keep the pipes from freezing, the electricity bill would be $400, maybe more. And mind you, that didn't get the house warm. There wasn't even heat in the bedrooms. That just kept the pipes from freezing. And on Mama and Papa Nop's wages, or on Social Security once they retired, it was a back-breaking bill. And it wasn't because they used a lot of energy. It wasn't because they weren't thrifty, because they were. You know, children of the Depression, man, Mama had Ziploc bags that were older than me. But it was because their homes were so incredibly inefficient. That home that I love, that home that is always home, will always be home to me, you'd about have to set it on fire to get it warm. And so many of our neighbors, maybe many of our families, live or grew up in homes like that, and it's still impacting people today. And so in the nearly 30 odd years that I've spent in the energy and sustainability world, since I galloped off into my career in my 20s, I realized about 15 years ago that in all the work that I'd ever done, I'd never done anything that would have served my mama and papa not, or that would have helped my mama and papa more, or my family, or my people, back in LaGrange, Georgia. So I am very grateful to be here today and to have the opportunity to lead Groundswell, which is a nonprofit that builds community power, and to have shared a few thoughts in rural Renaissance that I'll share with you today. Because in the moment that we are in, because of our technology transition, because of decarbonization, because of all the incredibly exciting things our industry is doing right now, and because of Bill and IRA, as folks in Washington call them nowadays, these incredible investments in American infrastructure and American power, we have the opportunity to really rethink how our energy systems work and to intervene at a level that is so much more important even than the cool technologies that we get to work with every day. We have the opportunity to really take a look at our values and inquire, what are the values that underlie our energy systems? What are the values that underlie the business and the policy and the personal decisions we make every day? Because ultimately, systems produce outcomes based on the values that they are founded on. Everything else is just kind of tinkering around the edges. And we're blessed to live and to be working at a time where we have the opportunity to intervene deeply at that values level and to get some different things done. And just like, the folks back in the 1920s and 1930s who were electrifying rural America to make decisions and to make change and that are going to shape our country for the next century to come and do good or do even more good, for all those generations. Next slide, please. So this is what I ask myself every day, because the single most important thing to know about me is that in addition to honoring my family, in addition to honoring my people and serving folks where I come from, my faith is the foundation of my work. I'm a Christian, and this is how I practice loving my neighbor as myself with the key stuff I know how to do in energy and sustainability. So when I'm thinking about Groundswell, when I'm thinking about other hats I may wear, this is what I'm asking myself. What would our energy systems look like if they embodied the commandment to love your neighbor as yourself? Next slide, please. And it really matters, because when we look at particularly, and again, with love to everybody representing every other kind of utility in the room, rural co-ops and public power is where my heart is. And we see that for rural electric cooperative territory, they cover a huge percentage of the country. Even though oftentimes they kind of get left out as being incredibly important heroes of not just 100 years ago, but heroes of today. Next slide, please. And here is just one of the reasons that matters. When we think about community, when we think about our neighbors, when we think about how energy impacts people, not only do rural electric cooperatives serve more than 92% of the persistent poverty counties in our country. So if you want to talk about economic development, rural electric co-ops were created for it, and they were right there on the front lines. But particularly in our region, particularly in the Southeast, in Kentucky, in Tennessee, in Georgia, in my home state, in Virginia, where I live with my husband, our neighbors, particularly our lowest income neighbors, have the highest energy burdens in the entire nation. An energy burden, I know I'm in a room full of experts here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Energy burden is just a measure of what percentage of your household income you spend on your electricity bill. And in Georgia, where I'm from, the most energy burden county, the average energy burden for low-income households is 39%. That's the average. And there are counties who are paying, where people are paying just that much for their electricity bill here in Kentucky too. And it's not because the rates are high. It's because people have such challenged housing. Their homes are so old, so inefficient with so many repair issues. I was just talking to a colleague from Habitat coming up here about this very issue. And it's because folks need a little help. So what I want to do today is talk with y'all about 7 values that I would propose that we think about as we look ahead, as we look at building our energy futures. And a note on that, I do want to qualify this as well. When we talk about energy futures, I know I spent a long time in D.C., probably spent too much time in D.C. But, at D.C., everything tends to be, my way or the highway. There's just one way of doing it. Well, I believe, and I know it's a fact, that we really have local energy futures. We may have one place that we're going together, but there are a whole lot of ways to get there. So we have an opportunity, too, to think about our values, not just as Kentucky or as the Southeast or as the nation, but we have the opportunity to really root our decisions in values that represent the local communities where we're from. So the ones I'm going to propose to you today are some that stand out to me, some that I try to embody in my work, and I got some examples for how we can get good stuff done in alignment with those values too. But when we get to the QA session, when we're talking in the hall, I'd love to hear about what some of those values mean to you too. Next slide, please. First, no secret, I'm a big fan of public power. So value number 1 is put the public back in public utilities. And in a lot of places, for our rural co-ops, for our municipal utilities, and also for investor-owned utilities, right? Where the way that you have to engage in a civic way, in civic discourse with your utility, is through a public service commission or through a public utility commission. Energy isn't just about electrons. It's not just about the source of generation. It's not just about your utility bill that most folks spend. I think the statistic is less than 9 minutes per year looking at it. That's probably when they're mad, when they think the utility's got something wrong. But utilities and energy have an extraordinary impact on our lives. So deeply engaging the public in the kinds of decisions we're making and really celebrating the fact that for our rural co-ops and our municipal utilities in particular, they're beautiful demonstrations of energy democracy who were created when a time where people had to come together to get power because big companies wouldn't serve them. So it's about self-reliance, it's about self-organizing, and it's about celebrating that civic spirit that created rural power in America and rerouting it again today. Next slide, please. So aligning value with values. So this is a little bit like put your money where your mouth is, but maybe not your mouth, maybe put your money where your heart is. Because we do have, with the Inflation Reduction Act and with IIJA or bill, depending on which is the friendlier name to call it, an extraordinary amount of funding, that's coming from the federal government into states and into local communities around the country. And with those dollars, there's an opportunity to really root it with, to spend those dollars on priorities for local communities. It's not just about thou shalt do this and here's the money and doing what we want you to do is the only way to get it. There's a really incredible flowering that's happening now. And I do want to acknowledge that working with the federal agencies, with love to all the federal folks who may be in the room and some of my former colleagues, can be a little bit difficult, right? Groundswell just put in an application for a federal grant that I think was 150 pages long. And took a huge team of people to get done, and not every community has the resources to do that. But by aligning the value of the funds that are coming down with what we value locally, we can get extraordinary things done that wouldn't otherwise be possible. I'll tell you just a little snippet of that story. So, for the application that Groundswell just advanced was for the EPA's GGRF, because it's not federal if it's not an acronym, and it's not energy if there's not an acronym, Solar for All funding. I know the state of Kentucky applied for this too in the single state category. But we worked with a coalition that we call Southeast Rural Power of municipal and cooperative utilities across the region and asked ourselves, okay, here is what this funding is for, but what do our communities need? How can we best put this to use? And we developed a set of values that were rooted in sharing, and using energy, and solar energy in this case is a way to address what the real critical needs are in many of the places we serve, which is deep multi-generational poverty and poor housing quality that's keeping people poor and that's making people unhealthy too. So how can we use the value that's coming down from the IRA and put it to good purpose supporting our values at the local level. Next slide, please. Repair, restore, and do justice. Now, this is going to be a housing story too, because energy and housing are so deeply intertwined, especially in our region, where the quality of rural housing across America and across the Southeast is in a severe state of disrepair. And when we think about energy efficiency in particular, which is the least sexy clean energy option, right? It's literally behind the walls. It's always hard to get people to like wake up and pay a little bit of attention to it. But energy efficiency is really an opportunity to invest in housing equity across our region too. Because even to do simple weatherization, you got to get in there and fix the roof. You got to get in there and fix the structural issues that may be, waiting there behind the walls. So, a little story about my hometown. Those same mill houses, they were built in the 1930s and 1940s. A lot of them haven't much been touched since then. And the organization that I run, Groundswell, partnered with our local utility to develop a program called SOUL. Save on utilities long term. LaGrange has soul, right? We all got soul. But what we learned, we went out bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, like we're gonna save people money on their bill, we're gonna cut their bill in half, we're gonna make their home more comfortable. Well, half of the homes, 53% actually, of the homes that we went and assessed for energy efficiency were in such poor repair condition that we could not even begin to do simple weatherization without risking the health of the people in the home and without potentially doing more harm than we did good. And that was tough, That was tough. Tough most of all for the people who thought we were going to be able to come in and help, and there was not anything that we could do. But what did we do? We connected with our neighbors. We connected with other nonprofits like Habitat for Humanity. We connected with CAFE and the local weatherization assistance provider. We connected with a local foundation. We connected and discovered the USDA Housing Preservation Fund, Rural Housing Preservation Fund, and baked the layer cake that you have to bake to make all these different sources of financing and funding work together. And we've been able to get in there and provide very substantial repairs, like up to $20,000 of repairs for people who were living in homes, some with just a dirt floor, some without a single properly working bathroom, some with, a room where they had just closed the door, because the roof leak was so bad and they couldn't get in there and deal with it. And we've been able to repair and restore their homes and cut their energy bills by about 34% on average across the board. And we've been able to do that for more than 60 families. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does indicate a direction in how we, as energy and sustainability folks, can use energy efficiency and clean energy to repair, restore, and do justice, and do more for our neighbors than just cut their bills. Next slide, please. So, count your blessings and work from abundance. And what I want to share with you here is just a little bit about solar and solar development, because I'm sure that this has been a topic here. It's a topic almost everywhere I go. I see it in our work. There is an abundance of land. There is abundance of opportunity with the new tax credits and the bonus tax credits and the direct pay tax credits that mean that community institutions can own their own power for the first time since tax credits were chosen as the primary mechanism for incentivizing solar. But to do that, there's a lot of pressure on land, and particularly on farmland. And a lot of folks have begun to get concerned about what that might mean. And some of those concerns are coming from a place of misinformation and fear. And some of those concerns are very well founded. If you've got heritage farmland and beautiful soils and, farmland is under so much development pressure from just urbanization in general, I can understand, getting concerned about what a bunch of solar panels are going to look like on your land too. But we have an extraordinary opportunity here again when we think about our values, right? It's not just about duking it out in the county commission just like we duke it out in Congress. It's about looking around and seeing what do we have in abundance? What are our blessings? What do we have that we can share? What do we have that we can contribute to this clean energy future? And how can we do more with what we have? Next slide, please. And one of my favorite solutions is agrivoltaics. I know that there's some examples of this in Kentucky. I think that there's some places where there's some sheep grazing under some beautiful solar panels. But it's a wonderful example of being able to sit back and see, what do we have that we are blessed with? What do we have in abundance? And how can we use it and really honor those blessings to do even more? And there's actually a pretty young guy named Greg Barron Gafford out at University of Arizona who is one of the world's leading researchers in agrivoltaics. Because it's not just about finding a way for agricultural land uses and solar panels to work in harmony. In a lot of places that are drought-stricken or in places where heat, extreme heat is making it harder to grow crops, it's an opportunity to actually get more out of the solar panels because the plantings underneath them keep them cooler on the other side and make them more efficient. But it's also about being able to grow crops and being able to grow little tender crops in particular, where the heat and the drought would have made it impossible to continue to cultivate them. So incredible opportunities for us to step back and just say grace, share gratitude and see how can we come forward into a better future. Next slide, please. Share and serve. Share and serve. We have so many new technologies now that give us the opportunity to share and serve in new and in really beautiful ways. One of the ways that Groundswell does that, and we do it in different forms depending on what state regulatory construct we're working in, is through community solar. And community solar is a lovely way to allow neighbors to support neighbors, not only by sharing power, and I'll give you a specific example of one way we do that is sharing, that is helping your neighbors through the way our energy systems work, but that's also creating greater resilience by sticking a battery on that thing and increasing the overall grid benefits of that asset too. But an approach that Groundswell takes to community solar that is recognizing that sharing nature of what we can do with the technology, we call share power. I'm sure you hear a theme here, share, share, share. And it's called share power. And for many of our customers, for many of the households that we serve, what they are primarily interested in is being able to access clean power. They want to use solar power for their home, but they can't, or they are disinclined, to put a solar panel on their roof. They'd rather have it over here and share it with their neighbors from a central location. But then we have other neighbors who have those extraordinary energy burdens who have a great need. And in markets where, because of tax credits, because of local programs, because of the heart and the program that a local institution like a church, almost all of our projects are installed on churches and communities of faith may have, sometimes there's a slight discount or a big discount that's available associated with solar as a source of generation. And if you're an affluent household, if you are, if you're, I think in Washington, D.C., which is Groundswell's hometown, a middle class household is pulling in something like $300,000 a year. You really don't need $6 a month off your electricity bill. That 10 or 15% solar savings really isn't adding to your family's bottom line. I mean, that's a latte. That's probably cups of coffee that you buy on a single day. But what you can do is aggregate those savings and share them with people who need it. Sort of like Bombas socks, right? Where you buy one, you share one. So for the way that we approach community solar, for every 3 or 4 households that purchase a subscription, we give one away that's specifically sized to cut utility bills in half, for families who are income qualified, who are under-resourced. And that's putting about $550. Interestingly, that ends up being kind of a magic number, whether it's Georgia, whether it's Alabama, whether it's Virginia, whether it's Maryland, it ends up being about $550 a year. But that's rent money, that's grocery money, that's kids' backpacks for go back to school, that's medicine. And it just makes people's life a little easier, right? By getting something that we want, but finding a way to share something that people need in the process. And the technologies that we have at our disposal now allow us to make those kinds of decisions and do it a little differently this time around than we did 100 years ago. Next slide, please. Courageous innovation. And I want to give credit for this thought to a former colleague of mine who has since passed, a gentleman named David Mueller, who talked about courageous innovation in the context of sustainability in general. Because we know, because everybody here is courageous, everybody here is an innovator, everybody here is working in energy and environment and sustainability. And as much as sustainability, as much as the energy futures that we're building may look to values, may look to practices, may look to rediscover really good things about our past, right? Good things that we love about our heritage lands, good things that we love about the way our communities work together, good things that we love about the values our grandparents shared with us. The fact of the matter is that everything that we're doing today requires change. And most people really hate change. They really do. And I get it. I mean, the older I get, the more I sort of appreciate the familiar too. And being able to confront, the need for change, including having some challenging conversations sometimes and facing some creative conflict, takes courage. Because it's not easy to do that. That's not exactly what anybody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to innovate, and I'm going to enter into conflict with my colleagues, and I'm going to have tough conversations, and I'm going to tell some tough truths. No, that's a hard day at the office right there. That's what that is. So just celebrating yourselves and celebrating your colleagues and celebrating the extraordinary courage and passion and heart that it takes every day, to be able to do this work and, to forgive yourself the hard days and to forgive your colleagues when they're having a bad day, because ultimately we're all in this together, and it's just part of the blessings of the times we're in to be able to do this work. Next slide, please. And finally, partnership and connection. We can't do this by ourselves, especially when we bring the EV folks in the room, right? It takes partnership and connection to get the work done. It takes partnership and connection with gas stations. It takes partnership and connections with our colleagues at the DOT, who need fuel taxes to be able to fix the roads. It takes partnership and connection with manufacturers who are coming to our region, who are bringing all these great clean energy industries and jobs, but that are very energy intensive themselves. And it is a beautiful time as well, with that courage, with that heart, that we have for the work, to also reach across to an industry in the next lane, an adjacent space, to reach across to people that we may not agree with, to find that value, to find that passion, to find that idea, to find that technology that can open up the opportunity for a different conversation. Next slide, please. So let's get to work. I'm here to work. I know y'all are all here to work. I think of this work as being extraordinarily joyful. Joyful service is one of Groundswell's core values. It's a blessing to get up every day and help folks and learn something new, and to be here at a moment when we are creating the energy futures that are going to power our nation and power our world for the next century. Next slide, please. This is a little bit about what Groundswell does. I'm not going to belabor this one, whether we're talking about solar for all or resilient centers or R&D. I'd love to have the opportunity to chat with y'all a little bit in the hallway afterwards and share more about our story and how we come about the work. And would invite y'all, if anybody's interested, final slide, to check out a little bit more at ruralrenaissance.org. And if we have just a couple of minutes, I would be grateful to take any questions or comments from y'all. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi, I'm Jeannie Saylor with Schneider Electric, and I just loved that presentation. I got to read your book. It was great, so thank you so much. I know we would love to, I'll follow up with you. We'd love to partner with you with Groundswell. Would you say a little bit more about the resilience piece? I think about community solar, obviously community solar, but what about community microgrids with solar? So we share a little bit more about what that looks like in your organization's mind?
Absolutely, absolutely. Resilient centers, community resilient centers. Everybody is thinking about resilience these days. Everybody, everywhere. And we've been blessed to work with perhaps an unlikely leader in community resilience, the city of Baltimore. for the past 5 years, where we've been installing microgrids with small-scale solar, like on a church rooftop, and energy storage that'll keep the lights on for between 4 and 7 hours for critical loads. And the technology has been great, and it's been really wonderful to work with local community members and help get folks trained. You know, we've got projects where members of the community are working on getting them built. But I'll tell you, the thing that's been the most fascinating to see about this project is the way people have really come together around it. You know, there are more than 27 institutions, all of them churches, all of them communities of faith. You know, because in neighborhoods that are in a tough spot, neighborhoods that are in a hard way, the last institution standing is the church, still there serving. And we see that in Baltimore too. But these hubs are not only places where neighbors can go if the power's off, if the grid goes down, but in vulnerable neighborhoods and neighborhoods with much lower, average incomes that are under-resourced, if it gets too hot or too cold, people know they can't pay that bill. So especially older seniors on fixed incomes or people with disabilities need to be able to go somewhere to stay warm or stay cool. And this has just been an incredible demonstration of partnership between community serving institutions like City of Refuge. We're celebrating a new one getting underway next week with City of Refuge in Baltimore, and also with the city. But from an emergency management perspective, right? Because it's not just about the energy component, it's really about how can these community-based hubs that are getting technology and benefits and visibility of clean energy out in the neighborhoods also be a force multiplier for the emergency response and public health and safety responsibilities that municipalities have to. And this is a program that can work in a big place like Baltimore or a big place potentially like Lexington, but it is just as valuable in small towns too, especially when they get out to the fringes of the grid and less dense areas where, with respect to the heroic linemen and women who do the work, it takes a little while to get the power back on. Probably time for one more question. Okay, one more question.
All right, I've got something from the app. How can we implement changes in Kentucky to help our Kentuckians in need?
Well, I think that I'll share two thoughts, but I'm going to defer to my colleagues like Rebecca, who are here in Kentucky doing the hard work every day. But this Solar for All grant that y'all have applied to is going to be such a blessing to the state. It's going to be such a blessing. As I have shared with everyone everywhere I ever talked to, with all these federal dollars, get them and bring them home. They're your money anyway. So thank God that Kentucky is getting that money and bringing it home. Because regardless of how it gets deployed, those are dollars that you can structure directly, into low-income serving community solar or residential rooftop projects and begin to bring bills down for people. That have much more expansive benefits too. And then also, our humble friend, energy efficiency. There is so much good that can be done with energy efficiency, not only through programs like WAP and LIHEAP and fully grant-funded programs that you can weave together with other partners, but we use a program called Pay As You Save that helps to underpin our SOUL program. And it's a residential approach, to paying for energy efficiency upgrades today that get paid for with savings down the line. So you can stack all these things together, repair funds, energy efficiency grants, pay as you save, that's essentially on-bill financing that follows the meter, not the person, and you can get a whole lot more done with the same amount of money. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for sharing time together this morning, and I look forward to spending a little bit more time with you as we roll out of here. I finish my cup of coffee and we have the opportunity to chat in the halls.